As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
Good morning, my beautiful people on YouTube. Yes, my face is sunburned. I am sure that you guys, sorry, we're going to be running off the Dell because I got a video that I prepared and wanted to show you. Many of you guys know we were going to be discussing, this possibility of the second trip to Warriors Park, the water hole. There's been a lot of speculation about that. We were going to do that yesterday, but I got a call that there was a missing woman, and actually it hits a little closer than that, and we'll go over it. There's a missing woman here in my county, and she's been missing today an entire week. You guys know my history. Many of you guys that have been following me for some time know, I had a lot of issues in my past. I did a lot of bar hopping, a lot of drinking, a lot of everything that you can possibly imagine. And she actually served me years ago. She actually served me. She was a bartender that was at Papa Joe's, which was a bar I didn't frequent it as often as, say, like Mulligan's, or actually Mulligan's was my main, and Cheers, right? Those were the kind of the frequented spots that I went to. I've got a lot of her friends that she's friends with, I'm also friends with. And so although I didn't know her on a personal basis, I did know her. And so you can imagine how, literally 5 minutes down the road. That's how close it is. And so it kind of struck a nerve, so we rallied the troops. We collaborated. Olivia, Chronicles of Olivia were out there. Jonathan Lee Riches was out there. I was out there. Mom was out there. We kind of, went out there. We searched. We were out in the sun yesterday. I'm telling you, I was so hot and tired. It had been so long since we have, been in the hot weather, since Gabby Petito. Out there in the heat, walking and knocking and posting flyers and handing out flyers and talking to neighbors and stuff like that. It's literally been since the Gabby Petito case that we were this weather yesterday was only 90. The weather we were in with Gabby Petito was 98 to 100. So it was rough on the old body. I can tell you that. I was hot. I was exhausted. I didn't get back here until, I want to say, about 6:30 last night. And then I was editing a video that I was going to play, actually put it out there, but I'm glad I didn't run with it, because there was a few things that needed to be cut out of that video that I forgot to cut out. And so this morning, the reason why I'm late, I've been up since 5:30. The reason why I'm just now running my live is because I went back through that video with a fine-tooth comb to make sure there was no information that needed to be removed from it that was told to us that should not be told to the public. So it's actually done. So I'm going to run that video here in just a short minute. So I just wanted to say good morning to everybody. This is probably going to be a short live, and here's why. I don't mean for it. I miss you guys. I wanted to see you guys yesterday. I almost considered doing a live last night, but I was a hot mess. I was exhausted. You can imagine. We were, I think we arrived at the bar to meet the friends of Stephanie. I want to say around 10 o'clock in the morning. So from 10 o'clock in the morning to well after 6 o'clock at night, we were running. We stayed there to interview people. I've only got one section of that interview. I think there's a lot that's going to be shaking over the next day or two, but that's not why I'm doing the short live. I'm doing the short live because many of you guys know my best friend's granddaughter's birthday is this evening, and they have this beautiful facility rented, and I've got to get dressed and get ready. And plus I still got to go get her gift and her card. So it's just, I just got a lot of stuff going on today, and I do apologize, but we're going to get through. If it does take some time, We're going to get through what we can and move on. But this is a case that's really kind of hitting home. It's more of a personal case that I want to make sure that gets out and around. This is uncommon for this gal to just disappear. She's not going to go anywhere. And there's a lot of things that indicate that this was not her intention. More importantly, she planned for 4 months a trip with her girlfriend to a concert in Ybor City and bought a brand new dress for that concert. She never made it to that concert. The morning that she was to go to that concert, her roommate stated that he saw her. But after that, that was it. Nobody's heard from her. Her friends called her around 1. She wasn't picking up the phone. They didn't hear from her. There was a lot of miscommunication amongst the friends. So they actually thought she went to the concert. And then the friend that had the backstage, the VIP tickets and all that said, no, we didn't go. She never showed up. I couldn't get a hold of her. I canceled the trip. We never went. They didn't call the missing person report in until she missed work that Sunday. So she disappeared on June 3rd. This is literally a week-old case. So we dove into it, and there are some similarities to another case that we are dealing with, and I will let you guys decide what similarities you think, and you're only getting a sneak peek. We went around to neighbors in that community. We spoke to a lot of people. We handed out a lot of flyers. We searched in the woods. We did a lot of work in the little bit of time that we had. We found some weird things out there, I must say, but we did not find Stephanie. So let me just say good morning. Sorry, guys, I'm kind of out of it. I'm tired. I'm sunburnt. I'm exhausted. The day's just beginning, and I have an event this evening, and I'm just plumb exhausted. So good morning, Miss Robin. Nice to see you here bright and early. The first one that made a comment this morning. So you are just on top of it. Cool Gamers, nice to see you. Anissa, good morning. Rose Petal, I love that name. Good morning to you as well. Swiss Miss, BL, Sasha, Paula, Mama Bear. Not far from her. A little over a week, they found a man's clothing, etc. at Fort DeSoto, and later found him behind a dumpster. I don't know if anyone's talked much about this, but I saw it last week in Florida's news. Oh, interesting. Yeah, Fort DeSoto is not very far. If many of you guys remember, what makes Fort DeSoto so, it's almost like, how have I heard that name before? That is the same place that Brian Laundrie and his parents went to go camping when the whole world was searching for Gabby Petito. So that's why that name, Fort DeSoto, if you guys are saying, that sounds familiar, how do I know that name? It is specifically because Fort DeSoto is the same place, the same park that Brian Laundrie and his family actually went and searched. Just a second, let me clear that. Perfect. All right. So there's a lot of other things in the news that I wanted to go over. Many of you guys, I'm not sure how familiar you guys are. Let me pull this up. Good morning, Emma. It's nice to see you. Graham. Harley's World. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Brenda, the Alberta Queen. It's nice to see you. ZZT, you're in here. I hope you had safe travels. How long has she been missing? She's been missing a week as of today. As of right now. This is about around the time she was last seen in her house, reportedly. So, actually, let me just go into the video because, to be honest with you, I am exhausted. I'm not sure if I have time. We will go and touch these other stories and other cases here in a little bit, but one of the most prominent ones that came up is, if you guys remember Larry Nassar, he was that gymnast that did horrible things to his young students. And he's being sued by 90 survivors. He's being sued. He has more than 90 survivors, but his survivors are actually suing the FBI for $1 billion. Yes, you heard that. $1 billion. 90 survivors. because apparently this was reported a long time prior to this, and nobody did anything to help those kids because he was winning. That's what I would assume, because why else would somebody not look into it, into allegations like that, and then come to find out that they were all accurate? And this had been going on for years. And just a sad story. If you guys had not, he should be held accountable. He has been, 90 survivors. It's pretty extensive. I say and say, oh, that's nice to know. That's not too far from me. You're just over the bridge, Paula. But 90 that's the ones that came forward. Remember, there are a lot of people when something like this happens. There are literally a lot of people that will not come forward. They don't want to be involved. They put it in the back of their, it's nothing in their life anymore. They've resolved it. They don't want to relive it. And a lot of people don't come forward. So the 90 survivors are the ones that actually came forward. I don't believe that this is the true number of the lives this man has affected. I really don't. Another little tidbit of information, and I don't really go into this too much because it's entertainment. I'm not really the entertainment. Good morning, Cindy. I'm not really into the entertainment type of stuff, but Dwayne Johnson, AKA The Rock, is one of my most favorite. He was a favorite wrestler. Well, it's because he's a big, gorgeous guy. Let's be honest, right? So naturally, when he was wrestling, I loved him as a wrestler. Then when he went into movies, I loved him as an actor. Good morning, Rhonda. Nice to see you. Christine, nice to see you. Good morning. He has always been the good guy in movies. He's always been the good guy. He's always been the savior. He's always been the knight in shining armor that came to save everybody. Yes, Crime Bee. Yes. I love The Rock, right? Just a gorgeous, massive guy, right? He is actually going to be the ruthless anti-hero in the upcoming movie Black Adam. He's going to be the bad guy, guys. I've got to watch this. I have seriously got to watch Black Adam just to see The Rock be the bad guy. The famous Alyssa Simone Biles. She is on that list. She was. I actually have the list of some of the more notable victims of his. Speaking about Nassar. And then, of course, there's some other stuff. Oh, and this is the most disturbing for me. And I'm only going through 3 of 10 topics that I was going to discuss yesterday. But again, everything kind of went crazy when I heard Stephanie was missing. So, can you smell what The Rock's got cooking? Right. But he's going to be the ruthless anti-hero. So this is going to be, just remember, Black Adam. This is going to be a pretty good video. So or movie rather. So I can't wait to see him finally the villain, and see what he has, how he does portraying a villain, because he's been the hero to everybody for so long. He's even done cute movies like, what was it, that Tooth Fairy, right? That was a cute movie. The most disturbing thing that I came across that I was going to cover yesterday was there is people. Now I want you guys to sit down, because you're going to need to sit down. I don't want this, and this is just a frustrating. It almost triggered me when I heard this. I'm ready to spit nails. So trigger warning. Trigger warning. There are people, sick, demented, twisted people, that are actually praising, giving kudos to the Uvalde shooter. That is correct. That is correct. People in this country and across the globe there are some people actually giving praise to him. It makes me want to puke. I have to be honest. I have to be honest. Those were children in an elementary school that was about to get out on summer break. Did nothing to anyone except maybe pull the girl next to them at the lunch line's hair, right? Did nothing. These children did nothing. These families did nothing to deserve that. They are, yeah, Graham, praising the shooter. See if I can link in here and see what we got here. Yeah, let me pull this up. Praise for the Uvalde shooter and calls for copycats is growing online. Homeland Security warns. Now that, to me, is twisted. In the U.S. Department of Homeland Security bulletin released Thursday, officials sounded the alarm over violent extremist content and misinformation following the shooting in Uvalde. Praise for the Uvalde shooter and conspiracy theories are spreading online. This, to me, is sickening. I'm sorry, but there is no good excuse to be praising such a coward. And that is what he is. And that is the sentiments of this channel and many channels across YouTube and across the globe. Many of us are here to avoid things like this. Definitely not praising some sicko going into a school of young children sick. There are just some sick, twisted people in this world. And why do they always end up online? Why do they end up online? I think people that do that kind of stuff need to be removed from online. I don't think they should be able to spread that misinformation. But just like the Second Amendment, there's a First Amendment. It is what it is. It's what we have to live with. But we also have to make sure, this is important, that we know what our children are listening to and who they are associating with and what messaging they're gravitating to. We have to be hyper vigilant right these days with our children. Our children can be so manipulated so easily with online content that it's not funny. And the reason why I say children is because I find it funny because most people target children with hate and everything like that. So we need to come from a place of strength, love, concern, and teaching, and teach those young children to rise above all that noise. That's our responsibility as parents, in my opinion. So I just thought it was disgusting. It was something that I felt needed to be brought up. I figured the people that come to this chat most likely concur with how sick it is. Well, guys, I'm going to pull up on the Dell. I hope the Dell works. Dell drops a lot, as we all know, but the video's on here. I didn't upload it to YouTube. Otherwise, I just play it from my second screen here. So I had kind of run together. It was already prepared. And then I realized that, I didn't look at the video very thoroughly and wanted to make sure that any potential information that should not be released to the public is not. So I worked extra hard this morning to make sure that it was a video that could be played. So without further ado, let me get this pulled up here. Give me just a second. Once it gets pulled up, I'll bring it. You know what? Actually, I think we shouldn't have any problems if I play it from the file. I've already downloaded it. There we go. Let me pull this in. I hope you guys like it. This is only when we got and did the interviews. There's still interviews with the neighbors, our searching. We did some searches. It was hot. It kind of sucks because when it gets so hot, your phones overheat and shut down, which prevents recording. So we did the best we could under the hot circumstances and conditions. So let me go ahead and just pull this through, and we are ready.
Jonathan, Olivia, and myself converged on Papa Joe's bar in Manatee County. This is where Stephanie Shenefield worked, and we met her friends there for interviews. This is a new and breaking case. We are in search of Stephanie, which is 38 years old, 5'4", and 150 pounds. She has brown hair and brown eyes. If you have any information, please reach out to the Manatee County Sheriff.
Andra, aka Bullhorn Betty, and we're outside of the Papa Joe's bar. It's right here in Manatee County. Looking into the case, Stephanie Shenefield, and we are looking into this. She left her home Friday around 1:30. There's no information other than a neighbor saying that they saw her get into a cream-colored car on Friday, and we are here just looking into this, seeing if we can shake some trees. The friends of Stephanie are confident in Manatee County law enforcement this afternoon, as they have stated they've got several promising leads in this matter. This group of people, her friends, her best friends, Gina, her roommate, Timothy, all stated that she was definitely there. Somebody had eyes on her Friday morning at around 8:30 to 9 a.m. in the morning. Since then, everything is just a blur. Nobody knows where she went, who she went with, and what makes this more complicated and why people fear the worst is because she planned four months ago to go to a concert in Ybor City, and she never made it, even after buying a brand new dress for that very specific concert. So we don't know what's happening. We're just trying to find out information, and we will be reporting it back to all of you as information becomes available to us.
The media was saying that she was acting irrational. What does that mean?
I don't know what they mean by that. She's been a little upset, and like she said, her messages, we've seen messages of just being freaked out from certain guys, just ex-boyfriends, things like that. She had started taking new blood pressure medication, and the night, like 2 nights prior, she was like, my heart just hurts, it feels funny, I don't like it, and but she took the medicine, said she was feeling better, she was still planning on going to the concert. That medicine is still sitting on her dresser. It's a daily thing. Like, she would have needed to take it again. Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
so that means if she left the house, she probably would have came back.
She was planning on coming back. She was going to that concert. By 1 o'clock, when the girl called her to go to the concert, no answer. It was just went straight to voicemail. There's something that happened between 7:30 a.m. Right. And this just, she would have responded. She for sure 100% would have responded. But the detective, they said they do have leads. Picked her up that morning.
If she died.
Yeah. She was talking to somebody. She had to go. I think. I don't know. The neighbor said that she was picked up. But he also didn't, I'm not sure what to believe with him. It's not facts. He couldn't give me any camera footage of her. He said, I seen her. He said, I seen her get in a white sedan, creamy color sedan. It was a cream color, it was 4-door, and it was a crew cut hair guy.
So it was a male.
And right now, that is hearsay.
It's hearsay.
Yeah.
It's like I have
the
no.
The only thing that pulls that from not being hearsay is that the guy said she had a plastic bag. She had a
Yeah, but he could have been thinking about it from another day.
No. I'm just saying, it does tie in a little bit, but that plastic bag is not there.
Oh, I know she has that plastic bag. She uses that bag.
And no wallet or keys.
The wallet's in that bag. I checked her room for her wallet. The wallet is in the bag that's with her, and her phone.
Did they go in the house with forensics or anything like a search?
They came in there. They did forensics.
They did enough. It's enough to say that they did what they supposed to do.
Yeah, there was no struggle. She left willingly somewhere or walked out the door she'll walk up to Walgreens right there. Any lead that I've got, I've chased down. I had a meeting call me and tell me that she's in Ward Lake, and I Googled it, and it was 13 minutes from where I was. It was over in Jiggs Landing. I'd never even heard of it before, but we went there. It's a ginormous lake. We went all around it, and as much as we could. It's private property.
And you've been working around the clock since this happened, trying to figure out what happened.
Of course.
To your best friend. How'd you guys meet?
We were bartenders together. The bar owner, he's like, I'm hiring this girl. She doesn't talk much, but you're going to love her. You guys will probably get along good. And, we talked. We just got along from the very get-go. And I picked her up all the time to take her to work.
Not only work together, they were roommates together.
Yeah, we lived together for a while. Our kids are very close.
Did she say anything about any kind of strange occurrences that
Lately there's been some weird people. I've got messages.
What weird events have been going on in her life here
She
recently?
messaged me probably a month or two ago about a guy was sending text messages of pictures of her house and
Really?
yes, from her driveway, stalking her. They've also had to kick somebody out of the bar that continued to circle the parking lot and drove the parking lot. I don't know who that man was. So she had some fear of not feeling safe and wanted to get the Ring doorbell. So I have conversations of her saying she doesn't feel safe and has stalkers. So that is something that needs to be looked into. I know the gentleman who was at the bar they had to kick out is different from the other person. So she had a few people that didn't make her feel safe.
It's not uncommon to see them up after work till 6 o'clock in the morning. 12. If there was somebody that was uncomfortable there, she would have told you.
She has a lot of
It's-
friends, though.
it's-
And that's why she felt safe. So
Also, you're,
That's some
honestly,
sketchy
you're kind of
people.
intimidating looking. I don't want to see how
Right.
come here and want to come to the house. And,
baby.
that's what I mean, and do anything. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't want to do
My
it.
sisters, I mean, it's my group of people.
Yeah.
I don't have family down here. The only family I have down here is my 2-year-old daughter. And when things went wrong with the baby mama, and me and Stephanie allowed me to come build a wall for her for the gym. And, she was like, stay there until, it covers the cost of it. And it ended up me being permanent.
she would respond by now, especially since this is not normal and something is wrong.
Like I said, if she was going to leave the house, she would get in contact with me if she was not going to be there. Because we have her son's dog there.
Yeah, son,
Her
medication.
medications there. All of her medications, anything that indicates that she might have went to spent the night somewhere, there's none of it.
No,
Exactly.
we
know
knew
where
it
she
was-
was.
Animal,
we know
and
where
like
she
I
was
said,
gonna
it's an
spend the
animal
night.
owner.
Yeah, they were
You
going
don't
to
want to
Tampa.
leave your
There was a
animal
plan.
alone.
She
Yeah,
bought
she
a
was
dress
excited
to go
about
to
it.
the concert.
She was
She
ready.
invited me. She was excited.
It was
She
backstage
always,
passes. Bone Thugs and Harmony.
She got a dress, she got a ticket, like this is something
Friday
seriously
night,
wrong.
I was ready to go, so she asked me if I was going, but I was leaving out of town.
This is
And
nothing
so she
like-
told me she bought a new dress. She's excited about
Her
it.
wanting to run away.
No, absolutely not. She was
Disappear
in
from
a,
everyone
No,
because
she's gone through her
She was in
moments
a-
of depression and stuff.
We all talked about that. Let me just
Yeah, we
freaking
all get
unplug the
upset.
mic for a minute
she's
and
been
then come back to
vocal
it.
and she reached out, which she did at the time that she needed help. She was in a good mental state.
Yeah.
She was wanting to go to this and excited about it.
Happened. Everybody on that street is on high alert.
Yeah,
So
it's like
they would
weird
notice
right now.
somebody standing out there.
any neighbors that weren't cooperative, any neighbors that, was just like, get away from us,
There's a guy down the street that's had a problem with me since I moved in because my motorcycle was too loud. And we'd go back and forth.
It's just neighborhood.
And no. This was bad. He called the cops on me a few times. But everybody's very right in our area is on top of things. Just because of the incidents down the street, and then we've got the apartment complex down there. We're family. I mean, I got a 2-year-old. I feel safe with my 2-year-old being there. You know what I mean?
I took on
Not
people
so
to
much
go
now.
look behind the house, and the neighbors back there, we had to, that fence. I went by my friend's house, he's also an officer. I went through his yard, and we have to jump the fence to get back to this pond. But like, we get over the fence, there's wire and everything. And the guy's come walking up, and he's like, we could have let you in through the front. And I was like, I'm sorry, we're looking for my friend. And he's like, I know what you're doing. He says, there's been more than just us back there. A lot of people,
Gotcha.
the whole town, there's been a lot of people trying to help out, but still no answers.
That's the place she would walk.
Right.
She would walk literally from my house, or her house, our house, from there to Mulligan's maybe, or she would walk down to Walgreens. or
She's
she
walked
would
to the
walk
gym
down
before.
to her gym, or she would walk down to another the highway bar. That's her, you know, little meeting. We're in Eco Rose. She has to walk away from her boyfriend's house at the time, all the way across. She walks. I feel like she walked that day.
I feel like she was picked up.
I feel like she was picked up.
Our messenger too. Did you see anything?
I had the last I messaged with her was on the Thursday before when I was supposed to pick her for the gym in the morning, and she was having the heart problem. She was like, my heart hurts, and I'm taking this new medicine. But then she said she was feeling better, and I had to go to work. I went to work that night, and it was her roommate that she's like, man, I'm not worried about Steph. She hasn't been home. She's not home. And I'm like, well, with the concert thing, I'm thinking maybe she's up there in the concert still. And then
Yeah, so she would always let one of us know, and nobody knew anything. And she pays rent through Zelle, and usually the landlord will know. Do you have the full amount? You know, blah 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 blah. No contact the landlord, which is completely wrong, and that's really when we got wrong. You know, no contact about the dog, and no contact about her, especially through other people that pay rent in the house. She's like a sister, so I mean, it's like she would not leave or do anything without us knowing.
Could she have made plans with somebody else that would have been able to give her a ride to that concert?
no, the girl with the tickets.
It has the tickets.
Oh yeah, she had backstage passes. She couldn't go without that girl. She would have answered her calls. I know she would. She would talk to her. If she was able, she would answer that phone. Something's funny from 1 to, well, maybe before then, but 1 p.m. is when Jen started reaching out to her, and she was like, she got nothing. She was actually sending her mean text. She feels horrible. She's like, I started sending her mean text like, how are you blowing me off?
Yeah.
After, you know, we've been planning this for 4 months, and
4 months.
4 months they've been planning this. Yeah. So it's, and then that morning, 7:30 a.m., she told Daisha she was going. So I think maybe she was trying to get a ride to go somewhere. Somebody's got her.
Feel she's still alive.
I'm praying she's still alive.
She could have had something go on with blood pressure medicine. She could be in somebody's house still alive. You know, they don't know what to do with her, who to contact. You know, I want, that's our wish. That's what we hope, you know.
Right.
And there hasn't been any solid answers. It's just all hearsay. So, but we do know that they have some promising leads. Yeah, I got that phone call before she told me that everybody was meeting.
Hopefully, you know, if they need the public's help, they'll release something to the public. Hey, we're looking for this vehicle. We're looking for this
There's a
individual.
definite
You know what I
something.
mean?
But they're doing their job. He said he had actually like a group of 5 detectives on this, and that they are going after their leads today.
Can you tell me something special about Stephanie?
Everything's special.
That's her Stephanie. That is special.
She knows everybody. She's friendly and trusts everybody.
Everybody has a view of a person. You have a view of me now that's talking to me.
Right.
Your view of what he just now viewed of me is different.
Mhm.
What you view of yourself is different.
Mhm.
Stephanie, most everybody's view of Stephanie is the same. She is that go-lie, sweet
Little
Iowa girl. She's very, she's a very lovely person. There's no,
She's very
Get
fun
around.
person.
she's got me in more trouble than I can count. Trouble is in going out,
Right.
Drinking.
meeting you guys way out at like this sun freaking whatever it was.
Sun and fun.
Fun and fun. And then going and doing adventures. You know, that's Stephanie. She's special. There's no other name. That's my Stephanie. Everybody's Stephanie. And I mean, in a way, in their way. If there's anything to get out to public, if somebody knows something. This is somebody's mother. This is somebody's sister. This is somebody's best friend. This is everybody's Stephanie. This is, you know, it's not just a small group of people. You know, she's got a mom, she's got a dad, she's got, you know,
She's a versus the small town of Bradenton.
Yeah.
You know,
It's
missing
Tyler.
38-year-old from Bradenton.
I always told her, like, man, you gotta watch out for this town. There's bad people in this town. I know personally. I've lived here my whole life, and I know there's some bad people. And I'm a fighter. She's not a fighter. She's so sweet and just innocent.
With our town being so small, it's also so big for people that are not in our crowd.
Yeah.
Like these people that are now moving in the higher echelon as far as pay grades and all that, they don't come to these dive bars, you know.
Some of them do.
No, I'm just saying, you know, the majority of the heart of Bradenton, you know what I mean? And somebody has to know. It has to see something. just a little bit. Even if the neighbor across the street would say something to somebody at the corner, now knowing that maybe this went didn't what she left. Oh, I did see that. You know what I mean? Somebody knows something.
The things people have been telling
that
me
you
is
get
just
and it keeps coming.
Can you give me an idea, without, disclosing the person's name or anything, what type of message was it? Can you give me?
He had sent something to a DJ karaoke that creeped her out bad enough that she went back in that video, and he said something along the lines of, "Don't make me, don't be the next missing one on a video, or you're going to be the next one on a missing poster too." Something like which sounded like he was referring to her. Maybe because she knows her too, maybe she was just took it wrong. But I'm like, the way he said it, the things he said. I went searching around behind her house. I went back there, but I mean, it's really it's very grown. And
you want to do a second look?
I mean, I will go. I will go and do whatever.
So you want to go there first and then go to where you said you want to go?
Yeah, I had some things on my phone. I wanted to call down to Raise Canoes and ask them, because I know they have people out on canoes all the time, to keep an eye out for anything suspicious, a big bag, or you know what I mean?
No, and just you trying to find your best friend is just so you have a heart and you care.
We all love her. Yeah. I can't think
That's
of anything
your own
else.
friend. That's what anyone's friend should do for another friend in a bad situation. So you're doing a fantastic job under the circumstances. God bless you.
Yeah.
You have a message for the public.
If you have any information, please let us know. I think people might be scared if there was something like if she did have a problem with her heart and something happened, that somebody knows something. And that's why we offered the money reward. And actually the reward went up to $11,000 because Papa Joe owner, he threw in $1,000 on it too. So we're up to $11,000 for a reward to bring her home. I mean, either way.
Day 6, right? 6 days now? 7 days? 7.
Well, to me it is, because she was supposed to. It's Friday, right? Is it Friday?
No, we've lost our day.
You would think that they would interview these people by now to try to get something.
Yeah, I mean, they have everybody that I have sent to them. I know he's contacted. He has been on top of things, contacting people. But
and that detective is who?
Detective Fox, Nate Fox.
So if anyone has any information or anything like that,
Extension 2513 at the Manatee County Sheriff's Department.
Feel she's still alive.
I'm praying she's still alive.
Do you want to do some searches?
The plan right now for me was I was coming to meet her to get together and maybe do a search, and then after I got the information from
I'll help you.
the detective this morning,
People
said K9 Cincinnati, they have all that. They can use a K9 if they needed a K9. They can use a K9. And he said if she left in the car, what's a K9 going to do? Does anybody have a location? So from him saying that, he has got very good leads and there's people out there. If she said it was 5 detectives, then maybe that's what is out there.
They're going to talk to people. They have more leads by having that messenger. So
just wait for information.
Hopefully today something else comes, but I am more than willing. Let's go. Yeah, let's do it.
Where would we look?
I wanted to go out to Rye Bridge just because some weirdo said, he's like, you're going to find her body on an embankment out on Rye.
You want to go look?
I will. Yeah.
All right, let's go look. I'll follow you.
As you see in this raw interview with some of Stephanie's closest friends, she was loved by many. We are asking anybody with any information to the whereabouts of Stephanie Shenefield to please reach out to the Manatee County Sheriff's Office at 941-747-3011. Stephanie was 38 years old, 5 foot 4 inches, 150 pounds. She had brown hair and brown eyes. Please let us know where she is today. God bless each and every one of you.
So that is the story, the beginning of this case for our team. We're going to be following this. This is a little close to home for us, and we absolutely feel for her family and friends. She's been missing a week. The day she went missing, she was confirmed to be going to a concert that afternoon. which she never made it to. And again, what I think is the most alarming is the fact that she did purchase a dress for this. This was all 4 months of work for this one night, this one evening in Ybor City, that she was very excited. I mean, she was elated. From what all of her friends said, she would have never have missed that concert. And she was not, the family, or friends rather, was not even able to call her missing person case. She's an adult. And I know we teach on here quite a lot that you do not have to wait 24 or 48 hours to make a police report. But still, sometimes law enforcement, they think people just, she's an adult. She's allowed to disappear if she would like to disappear. Sometimes you just have to tell them, you need to take this damn report. Excuse my language. You need to take this report and you need to start working on it. There was something not right. We know. You may not know, but we know. And so it's just, they weren't able to file the missing person report until the Sunday, 2 days later. So by the time I think law enforcement got out there or a detective got out there, it might have been Tuesday, I think, is when they started running or airing this case on their social media platforms and things of that nature. And not only that, but these people that are associated, many people know. I mean, we've got people in our own chat right now that know some of the friends of Stephanie, believe it or not, that were actually writing me and saying, oh, is this her person? Oh, this person was her old roommate. I know him. And so this actually touches people, believe it or not, that aren't even in the state, or not even in Manatee County. People that are in different counties have connections with some of these people. It's sad. She was loved by many. I can't find anybody with a bad thing to say about her. I'm sure she might have, obviously there were some people, gentlemen, that were watching her and making her feel uncomfortable. But she was a young, beautiful woman, bartender, so she had late nights and, people drinking and stuff like that. It causes a lot of different things. She did not deserve anything to happen to her. And so we are praying for her safe return, but nobody has heard from her. Her family hasn't heard from her. Her best friends that she speaks to on a daily basis haven't heard from her. And, even the title of this live, we asked, good morning. Guy said to her that, yeah, there was some creep that said that. And so law enforcement is chasing down leads. And again, like I said, we went out there, we posted flyers, we got an opportunity to speak with neighbors. We got a good idea of, the community, what transpires in the community. We talked not just on that road. I mean, we talked several roads back. Is there a bad element in that community? There's a lot of great people in that community. I will tell you that. But there are some areas and some homes that aren't, as good as others. Many neighborhoods have those things. So, but the neighbors, they all kind of stick to themselves and they mind their own business and they coexist together. They just in that one little area. There wasn't a lot of, I guess, open space. There is some out there. We went on the train tracks because the train tracks are probably the closest proximity to their property. There's some lakes and ponds and things out there of that nature. But we stepped to the train tracks and looking in the, they have on sides of the train tracks, they have the high grass and stuff like that. We did find a few things back there, but nothing that appeared to be Stephanie's or anything that appeared to come from Stephanie's home. So we have told people that need to be told about the items that we did find. And of course, we are withholding a lot. Like I said, when I was doing this video and editing this video, I had to go back this morning and really go through it with a fine-tooth comb to make sure something that shouldn't have been said wasn't said. There was a lot of information flowing from the neighbors, from, family, friends, the community at large. So we just wanted to make sure that we got the information out. Isn't that a sad story? And what do you guys think about that? I mean, there was the thing is that somebody apparently reportedly had stated that she was at the home that morning. We also heard, but she didn't drive. She didn't drive. She had her car there. She was just about to start driving again. And she didn't quite have her license or the money, together just to get her license back. So she was pretty much dependent upon other people driving her or walking wherever she needed to go. The good news is her property is centrally located to her job, as well as other things like the gym, restaurants and things like that she could easily get to. And she apparently doesn't have a problem, walking places. She actually enjoyed it. There was her best friend was talking about them going to a gym, and she was going to swing by and pick Stephanie up, but Stephanie's like, no, I'll walk. And she's like, I want to walk. So she was a walker. She didn't have a problem with that. The community itself, was right off a main drag, so she could have gotten on that main road and walked. There's cameras at almost every intersection to enter that community, which is good. Some of the neighbors did have cameras on their home. Somebody said that they had a SIM card issue. We had another gentleman across the street that it was offline. He couldn't go on there and get his footage. So it was one of those things. Yes, we asked about the Uber and Lyft, and her roommate, Timothy, which was the gentleman with the kind of like the crew cut, the buzz cut, mini mohawk, I don't know what you want to call it. He said that she knew so many people, the chances of her actually using an Uber or Lyft were pretty low. That she knew so many people that anytime she's ever needed to go somewhere, if it was not in her walking distance, she would have somebody that she knew come pick her up. He also told me, and this is in a different interview. I haven't gone through it, so I can't run it live. He was one of the first people that we interviewed when we got to Papa Joe's. He was walking up and saw us with our media stuff, and he asked us if we were media, and he gave us an interview outside of the bar before we had that interview that you guys just saw. And he explained that she's got a lot of friends. She knows everybody. They got a group in Sarasota. They got a group here in Manatee County. That just goes everywhere together and stuff like that. That no matter where she was going or what she was doing, she could rely on somebody to pick her up. The neighbor across the street stated that she had he had saw a cream color or light color 4-door sedan come by there and pick her up, and that she was carrying a plastic bag. But the problem was he remembering a different day, or was he remembering that Friday, June 3rd? We don't know. What are the similarities between this case and the Summer Wells case? I think the similarities are the fact that somebody saw her 1 minute and she was gone the next. And it's a classic whodunit, right? We don't know who did it. The last person to see her physically was at her home on June 3rd, Friday, June 3rd, in the morning hours of Friday of June 3rd. She was last seen by her roommate, Timothy, and apparently, which I have not confirmed because I haven't talked to his ex-girlfriend / baby's mother. He's got a 2-year-old daughter or a young daughter, and apparently his ex had stayed the night there that night, the Thursday night leading into Friday, and had to be at work by 9 a.m. So she apparently was the last person to have seen Stephanie at the house. A lot of people say that she goes into her room and just shuts her door. I don't know if that means she physically, because again, I haven't spoke to the ex-girlfriend. And so I don't know if she just thought she was there because her room was closed and maybe there was a light on, or if she actually came out of the room and actually saw her physically before walking out the door. I don't know. But this is a beautiful girl. I'm going to go ahead and remove myself here just for a second so you guys can see her face, and then I'll be right back. Yeah. And friends of hers or somebody that's familiar with this case, she did not call off. She was a no call, no show, never did that before. So a lot of unusual behavior, her not being available when her friends called to finalize that day's plans to get to the concert. They knew something was wrong right then and there because she had planned on it. Her mental health, Graham, was great, according to the people that live with her and her friends. They said, every now and again she gets funky, like we all do. You guys have watched me be in a funk, for a couple weeks. Nothing serious, just kind of right? So normal people getting those feelings. Her mental health was really good, from my understanding. She wasn't on any kind of medication for things like that. It sounded to me she had medical issues such as high blood pressure and was on a new medication related to the high blood pressure, according to her friends. And I don't think she was really adjusting to that medication, or maybe she was going through some adjusting processes, because as her friend Gina was saying in that video, that Thursday they were going to go work out, and she said her heart was kind of hurting. So, and she didn't go. So that could be just the adjustment period of being on the new medication for blood pressure. Who knows? No, she was not depressed. She was happy and excited about the concert. And that's the sentiments that we were getting from her friends. So if anybody has any information, I'll back out of here again, so you guys can look at her face. If you guys have seen or heard from her, if you know her whereabouts, you are asked to call the Manatee County Sheriff at 941-747-3011. Detective Nate Boggs, Boggs, is the detective on this case. She's 38 years young. She was a beautiful, well-liked bartender in Manatee County, here where I reside. And this is just sad. This is just sad. And she's a mom. She's a mom of 2 children. Nobody has heard from this lady at all. This is serious. And we're begging and pleading with the public, if you know anything, please reach out to the sheriff's office. And again, I can't stress this enough. Legitimate leads. We do not want speculation starting to flow in to law enforcement. I know we have some great mediums out there, but unfortunately, that's speculation. So we need hard, concrete leads. Either you saw her get in a vehicle, you saw her at a location, something where you yourself, not if the neighbor down the road saw her, the neighbor down the road needs to call the tip in. We want fact-based, legitimate tips going into law enforcement here in Manatee County. Again, that number is 941-747-3011. Yes, thank you, Paula Mama Bear. Her medication was at home. So everything, every indicator there indicated that if she did leave the home, she was planning on returning. She didn't notify her roommates to take care of her dog. She didn't, notify her roommates that she was leaving for the evening. When you live with somebody, especially in a roommate type of environment, I think many of us know, especially like in college situation. When I bought my first home, I rented out 2 of my rooms so I could make my mortgage payment, right? And so I had a roommate type of environment. There was never a time that we just walked out the door and didn't notify our roommates, because at the end of the day, we all lived together. We all were accountable. You know, if something did happen, we would want to know. So I have to think it was a similar situation like that, where, you know, if she wasn't going to come home, she would call and say, or when she left, I may come home, I may not. Can you make sure the dog's taken care of? Something like that. Another odd thing that happened is this was on June 3rd. I don't know when their rent payment was due, but her roommate, Timothy, stated that the rent was paid through Zelle. As Zelle app, you know, it's like a cash type app. That's like my Zelle app is actually associated with my bank. So it's through my bank app that I can use it. However, she usually always sends that if she's late or short or anything. She always lets her landlord know. Apparently, nothing like that happened. The rent wasn't paid, and she didn't talk to the landlord. So another odd event. So we've got the not communicating with the landlord, leaving medications at home. All of her medications that she takes daily at home. She left her dog without any instructions for her roommates to take care of, take out, whatever. She didn't go to the concert. These are all red flags. These are all major red flags that say something is really off here. Something is majorly off. Another thing, which you guys didn't hear because it's the interview I had with Timothy, the roommate, before we even went inside Papa Joe's, was that, what was it? I was on something and I just lost it in my brain. I apologize. I'll come back to it. But he did bring up another aspect that I thought was important. And as soon as it popped in my brain, it popped out just like that. So as soon as I think of it again, I will let you guys know. No, her home is not in a more rural area. It's actually in a very live and happening area. We went out there searching, Mama Bear, we went out there searching yesterday and hung up flyers on, telephone poles in and around the area that she lived in. The girls had been doing they did fabulous work getting flyers up in the businesses and stuff like that. But I noticed when I walked around her community, there were no signs of her on the telephone poles. And so we went out and put them all up as many as we could put up on the telephone poles, because I noticed that, when you're out there, like we were out there, I think around noon, a little afternoon, and we worked the area until I want to say about 5 or 5:30. And there was a lot of people, even on their street, neighbors, just a few houses down, that had no idea she was missing. So it was just a little odd for me, that they didn't. So I thought it was great that we get out there. We had the staple gun. We put flyers up. So everybody in the community now knows that she is missing. And if they have any information, because if the neighbors aren't home, like say if she did leave, let's say for devil's advocate purposes, she did leave at like 10:30. Some of the neighbors might be at home or at work and not even know that she had left. There may be a neighbor down the road that just happened to be out pulling weeds that time of day and saw a suspicious vehicle or a vehicle leave with a passenger in the passenger seat matching her description. Neighbors had cameras. There were some neighbors that did have cameras. One of them, the law enforcement had already taken the camera. There was another one that was kind of pointing down. The gentleman was trying to log in to see if they had any footage from June 3rd, but when we were there, he couldn't retrieve it. It kept saying offline. So he said we gave him our telephone numbers and our names, and we text back and forth, and we did. He said he would, if he could find anything. He says he's not sure when the cycle is where the program itself overrides or overwrites that data. But there is stuff out there. There is stuff out there. And like I said, every intersection leading into that that community, just about every way you can go in, there is some type of camera from a business pointing, but I don't know how good those cameras are. There is a pawn shop right at the end of her road, and I have to think that they have probably some of the best, as most pawn shops do. They probably have some of the best surveillance cameras. The quality of videography is probably much higher at that pawn shop than maybe say at any other location. There is a Walgreens nearby that also has video footage. So let's see what we. Yes, yes. It is my understanding that they are, and law enforcement has dedicated several detectives to this case, according to her best friend, as you heard in the video. So they're just very concerned. You know, my heart bleeds because I've met her. I've met her, but I don't know her personally. These folks that we met with, that's like her family. That's her Florida family. And they are absolutely grieving. They are heartbroken. They haven't slept. They probably haven't eaten. You know, they're going on fumes. They are beside themselves. They need help. They need our help. I know I've got some sleuths in here. If you guys sleuth, send me some information. If you find something legitimate, send it over to law enforcement. We need as much, you know, as many hands on deck for this beautiful young woman just to find out where she's located. We need to find her location. Her purse is missing, her wallet's missing, her house keys are missing, and her cell phone is missing along with her. It is assumed that all these things are together. She's with her purse, her wallet, her phone, and her keys, right? Nobody has, and somebody started, and this is sad. I don't know if you got that little clip where her best friend Gina says, you know, some of the things people say to me is awful. So, and here's an example of it. So somebody reached out to her and said that Stephanie, they found Stephanie and she had one of her missing flyers and took a pic. Nobody could find that photo. Come to find out that was inaccurate. Gina called her mother. She is still a missing person, you know, and I know people try to help as much as they can, but think of how brutal that is. You're grieving, you know, thinking all the worst things in the world that could happen to your best friend. It's like a sister to you. And you get this message, this semblance of hope that, oh my God, she's okay. And just to have the rug pulled out from under you saying, no, that was inaccurate. Think about how much more pain or painful that is. It is just, it's heartbreaking. It really is. Yeah. So I'm hopeful that somebody knows something. You know, we've had some names brought up to our team. I'm not really willing to go through those just yet. I'm not really willing to divulge, you know, the neighborhood's the neighbors' interviews and things like that at this point in time. I will be working on, you know, other videos related to this. I just need you guys to push this out and spread this far and wide, as far and wide as you can. We are desperately seeking any information to her whereabouts or where she may have went that day. If somebody saw her at McDonald's grabbing a breakfast sandwich on June 3rd, you know, we'd like to know that. If somebody has seen, and she's noticeable, she's beautiful, she's 5'4", you know, she's a good looking woman, you know, she does turn heads. All right, guys. Well, I just got some information coming in. I've got to run for now. I've got to chase down something, and I will try to come back again. I don't know if I'll be back on today or not, but we will be reporting from this shortly. God bless each and every one of you. Hopefully we get some good news soon.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.